doctors. We're connecting with community experts. We're connecting with you. This is Connect by 3 News.
And hello again, and welcome to 3 News Connect. A very happy Friday afternoon to you, along with Monica Robbins. I'm Jay Crawford. Monica, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Jay. We are both coming to you live from our homes, and of course, the information about COVID-19 constantly changing. So let me give you the latest developments. Today, the House is voting on more than a $3 trillion coronavirus relief bill. It's called the HEROES Act, and it includes a second wave of stimulus checks and delivers aid to frontline workers. And because of business shutdowns, retail spending fell a record 16.4% from March to April. The sharpest drops were at restaurants, clothing, electronics, and furniture stores. And today is the day salons, barbers, spas, and tattoo shops can reopen, along with outdoor dining at restaurants. This will allow about 90% of businesses across the state to be open. Jay?
Monica, Ohio's march to reopen continues, and now we know even more about what's going to be open around the state and when it will be open. Laura Queso has the latest updates from the state as she breaks down what will and won't be opening in the coming days.
There. Ohio continues to open. Right now, more than 90% of businesses in the state are allowed to open their doors. State leaders added to the list. The governor's team announced campgrounds are allowed to open May 21st. That's on top of indoor dining. May 22nd, horse racing, but no spectators allowed. May 26th, gyms and fitness centers are allowed to reopen, along with low contact and non-contact sports. Public pools are also allowed to reopen. This includes pools regulated by local health departments. BMVs will also be opening their doors. Fast forward to May 31st, daycare centers and day camps can start back up.
This is the crucial time. So very, very important that we get this right.
And it's why he says he's working in phases and with experts. State leaders are not ready to set reopening dates for casinos and racinos, water and amusement parks, zoos and aquariums, movie theaters, and mass gatherings like sporting events and concerts.
As we open up and as we see more activity, it just is incumbent upon all of us to be even more careful, because what we don't want, frankly, is what we have seen in some of the stories that were out yesterday in Europe, where it shut down, then they opened up, and now they're having to retrench and start pulling back again.
There is no scheduled briefing with Governor DeWine today, but our own Russ Mitchell will go one-on-one with the governor. They'll be talking about his pandemic strategy and what's next for the state. That's coming up tonight at 11. With all the reopening, school districts are now planning for what fall may look like for them. The state released some preliminary school guidelines, which includes everyone wearing masks, strict cleaning policies, and 6 feet of social distancing. Parents will also have to check their children's temperatures every day.
Certainly when you think about 9,700 students, any type of margin for error, you're going to have some that aren't going to be able to meet that requirement, and how are we going to enforce that?
Some educators are also concerned about kids keeping masks on all day, especially the younger ones. And some say budget cuts will make it hard to buy supplies to make all this happen. Monica?
And what about daycares? They'll open with reduced ratios, meaning not everyone will get their spot back. But as a mysterious new syndrome in kids linked to COVID-19 is now appearing, many parents are asking, is daycare 100% safe?
We have no idea. Will there be long-term problems? What's the best way to get the inflammation under control? These are all things that we're still working on.
Dr. Amy Edwards is a pediatric infectious disease specialist at University Hospitals Rainbow, where a case of multi-stem inflammatory syndrome was confirmed. The CDC just issued guidelines to diagnose it. And as for daycares, they say they've never been cleaner or had ratios so small. But by the time tests revealed a resident emergency doctor at MetroHealth had COVID-19, Cuyahoga County alone was already dealing with more than 100 cases. The doctor was on the front lines and seeing coronavirus cases daily, and he told me his story exclusively right now. Dr. Dan Kinker started his medical career as a paramedic in Ames, Iowa, but knew the chaotic world of emergency care was where his calm and precise demeanor belonged. But he never thought he'd witness a pandemic like this.
Every day I go on shift, I see a case of coronavirus. I fully expect that to increase again here now that people are going to be out and about more.
In mid-March, he became one of thousands of frontline healthcare workers infected.
It started off with just a cough.
The test, positive. Quarantine started over the next several days.
Developed more fatigue. I ended up having low-grade fever. I would feel short of breath doing simple things like walk up the stairs, one flight of stairs.
His exposure, one thing. His anxiety over what he may have given his wife and child.
That's really tough. As a father, as a parent, as a husband, what we knew about this virus, that it is possibly deadly, that also you're infectious before you even know you have it.
His wife likely infected too.
Because she never got a test. She had a flu-like illness around the same time.
Now recovered, he has new perspective. As the economy starts up, the virus isn't finished. Stick with the basics.
Keeping your mask on, hand hygiene in any large public gathering is a risk. I was very fortunate. There are certainly people my age, younger than me, who have been completely put down by this thing and died. Maybe your brother, maybe your kid will come down with this thing and get very ill or die. So I think it's important to keep taking seriously.
Dr. Kinker's case was mild. He was able to recover at home, and he's been back to work for just over a month now. We wanted to keep you up to date with the latest facts on coronavirus and its impact. To get a direct link to our coverage on your phone, all you need to do is text the word FACTS to 216-344-3300. We'll reconnect after this.
Expecting a tax refund and have bills you just can't afford to
estimate cost on Amazon.com. The online retail giant will prioritize the masks for frontline medical workers, but as production ramps up, they will be available for the general public to buy. Amazon says they'll be about a third of the cost of other similar face shields. Well, take a look. This is the virtual graduation ceremony for Tri-C's class of 2020. This is from last night. Congratulations to all the graduates. And pretty soon, we'll start seeing the high school graduation ceremonies. Lindsey Buckingham spoke with some graduating seniors about what's next for them during this time of great change.
They are the babies of the 9/11 era. Now, high school seniors whose years of hard work and big plans are interrupted by a new national crisis.
The realization said that I could never, experience this again. So yeah, that's kind of been the worst part, not being able to experience this.
Meet Nate, Emma, and Jordan. Each had high hopes for the spring. Emma, a talented violinist.
We also have our big senior concert for orchestra, and a lot of seniors play a solo. So I was going to play a solo, and that concert has unfortunately been canceled.
Jordan, the wrestler, bound for the States.
It would have been amazing to compete for a state championship. That's what I've been working for this entire year.
And Nate, who'd played his last basketball game, but wanted one more chance to gather with his teammates.
I had a basketball that I was going to bring to the banquet, have all the coaches and the players sign. Now I can't have my classmates and my teammates sign it, but that's a little rough.
The disappointments linger, but there is hope for the future. Emma is heading to Case Western, pursuing music education. Jordan to OU on a wrestling scholarship. And Nate to the University of Arizona for communications. But because of the outbreak, he has decided to wait.
I had time to think about it, and I just decided that I was going to apply for the spring semester of 2021 just to play it safe.
Graduation is next for these bright teens. Not in the way they had ever imagined, but they want all of us to know it's okay. They'll be okay.
Feeling like we're all going through it together is helpful.
I've reflected so much during this period on myself. I actually think about how much my teachers every day put their time into me, how much my coaches, heck, my parents were putting up with me. And I think life is just built on relationships.
Wisdom for a class that's seen so much and reminds us each day of all the good that comes, even from our darkest days. Lindsey Buckingham, 3 News.
And as we honor the class of 2020, here is a senior shout out for Jackson Homage. He attends Willoughby South High, and he will study education and play baseball at Bryant and Stratton College. To recognize your senior, just email us, wkyc.com/senior shoutouts. And nothing like waking up to near 70-degree temperatures after yesterday's storms. But are we out of the clouds yet? Let's get a check on your forecast with Holly Strano.
Thank you. Another warm day, but still unsettled as we're tracking more showers and thunderstorms hour by hour on your National Design Mart forecast. Looking ahead to 2 o'clock, we're seeing more numerous showers and storms, those heavier downpours again. And some of these storms could be strong to severe. It stays pretty active into this evening. This is the picture at 5 o'clock today with patios open. Many of you might be thinking along those lines, but it's going to be a little dicey, especially with this weather. And if you're going to be out, make sure you have that 3 News app handy for later on. We'll keep you updated. And we continue to see showers and storms into tonight, early tonight, but then things clear out. And as we head into your Saturday, we'll start with some cloud cover, but we transition to sunshine and highs in the 70s. So it is going to be a nice day. 60s to near 70. It's get outside and definitely take advantage. Sunday, looking ahead to a dry start, but then we once again track showers and storms later in the day. Another warm day. You'll see the 7-day in just moments. And in the meantime, we got to check on those numbers because, you know, it was so warm yesterday. We hit 73 at Hopkins. We had almost an inch of rain to report officially. This morning, as opposed to 50 degrees, you were all in the 60s. And we've been steady climbing since. 75 is what we will hit today, at least, depending on how many peaks of sunshine we end up seeing. So a warm Friday, absolutely yes. Scattered showers, thunderstorms, again, some of those could be severe, so just be aware. Winds outside of that pretty breezy anyway, 15 to 25 miles an hour. And then looking ahead on your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, again tomorrow, we'll start with some cloud cover, but then transition to a partly sunny sky. And it looks like it should be a lovely afternoon tomorrow, especially highs around 70. Dry to start on Sunday. Tracking more storms. We're in the 70s for highs, so seeing a nice stretch of warm weather here, certainly. And then next week, especially early in the week, does appear to be unsettled, with rain showers likely on Monday into Tuesday. Highs will be in the 60s. Close to where we should be, so we're not seeing any big cool downs. And then back to partly sunny skies by the middle of next week. And by Thursday, we're in the 70s again. Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, Holly. Still to come, what you need to know the next time you board a plane. We'll take a look at what airlines are doing to keep passengers safe when we reconnect.
We've been here for Ohio's injured.
Well, the Cleveland Marathon, which was supposed to be this weekend, will look very different this year. Because of coronavirus, it is now a virtual event. And instead of gathering downtown, participants will run their own race at the place of their choice. Runners have until Sunday to complete the race and submit results to the Cleveland Marathon. Also, after UFC made a comeback this week, NASCAR making its return this weekend. NASCAR has announced it will restart its season on Sunday, but there won't be any fans at the track. The first 3 races will be at Darlington, South Carolina. NASCAR will eliminate practice for all events between May 17th and the 27th, as well as qualifying for most events. And normally around this time, we'd have AAA's Memorial Day travel forecast, but not this year. For the first time in 20 years, the agency will not issue one. The annual look at the holiday road, rail, and air travel is sidelines due to the pandemic, of course. It's actually because the data they use to make these predictions, well, it doesn't exist. And when we get to the other side of this, of course, AAA expects we will see new trends.
When it's safe to travel, we expect most people to hit the road, to really embrace that road trip. And most likely you're going to see road trips that are regional as opposed to driving across the country. And more people are likely to gravitate to the road trip as opposed to airlines right away.
And reopening of businesses is expected to boost travel some, but it will be a far cry from the 43 million people who traveled for Memorial Day last year. Jay?
Monica, no big surprise here, but Carnival, the world's largest cruise line, plans to lay off hundreds of employees. Carnival says it will use a combination of layoffs, furloughs, and pay cuts to keep the company going. The majority of cuts will impact employees in Florida, California, and Washington. The cuts are significantly deeper than those taken by the other two major cruise lines, Royal Caribbean and Norwegian. Major airlines are trying to ease some travel fears as the country starts to open back up. Investigator Rachel Polansky looked into what airlines are doing, like which is still selling middle seats and which one isn't requiring masks for its passengers.
3 News Investigates is looking at these 8 airlines and evaluating them in these 4 categories. Are they requiring masks or facial coverings? Are they requiring temperature checks? Are they cleaning in between each flight? And are they blocking middle seats?
I flew in to spend time with my family.
Then we asked flyers at Cleveland Hopkins what they're seeing.
I had a lot of anxiety going into it. I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah, I was nervous.
Every airline we looked at, except Allegiant, is requiring customers wear masks when flying. And while Allegiant is not requiring them, they're still providing masks to customers and encouraging them to wear them.
Everyone was wearing masks, even the passengers. It was a requirement.
Moving on to temperature checks. While all airlines are asking travelers to self-check for symptoms, so far, Frontier is the only U.S. airline who says it will require temperature checks. Delta and United will require temperature checks for just the flight crew. And a number of airline CEOs have said that they would support mandatory temperature checks being done by the TSA. Every airline we looked at is stepping up its cleaning and sanitizing procedures. That includes cleaning common areas like tray tables, seat covers, armrests, and seat belts in between flights. HEPA air filters are also widely used.
They switched my seat so I could be by myself.
And finally, the dreaded middle seat. Delta says it will not book them. Others say they're adjusting their seating systems to avoid selling them, but they stop short of guaranteeing it. Frontier, for example, told 3 News it's blocking and not filling a number of middle seats on each flight.
I had the entire row to myself, and they spaced people out more than 6 feet distance.
While we were at Cleveland Hopkins, we did not see many passengers, and anyone that we did see was wearing a mask. Workers were also cleaning from the time that we got there to the time we left. To take a look at all of our findings from this report, head on over to WKYC.com. Rachel Polansky, 3 News.
Rachel, thanks. Still to come, are you and your family missing those trips to the movie theater? I know I am. One local group of theaters is bringing you part of that cinema experience with a new drive-up service. More details on that when 3 News Connect continues.
Front loader odor. You know that smell when you open your funky
At this hour, the CEO of the Tokyo Olympics says next year's games will look very different as the delay is costing billions of dollars. You can get a taste of the fair this weekend. The Stark County Fairgrounds will be letting people drive through to get their favorite fair foods. How about that? It's already underway and it goes through Sunday. For these headlines, plus a list of all the local restaurants planning to open this weekend, head over to our website, WKYC.com. LeBron James and his Akron-based Family Foundation are honoring the class of 2020. They're doing so with an hour-long primetime special that will air tomorrow night. Graduate Together is airing on NBC and other major networks. There'll be performances from celebrities and messages from students and teachers and the commencement speakers, former President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle.
Well, Krispy Kreme may be offering the sweetest graduation present ever. It's giving away a free dozen donuts to members of the class of 2020. All you have to do is wear your cap and gown with a 2020 tassel to any Krispy Kreme location for your free box of donuts. They're called the 2020 Grad Dozen, and if you don't have a cap and gown, just wear some class of 2020 apparel or show them your class ring. I drove past a packed drive-in theater the other night, but movie theaters are still waiting to find out when they can fire up their projectors. And if you're missing taking your family to the movies, the Cleveland Cinemas came up with a new way to help you get that theater experience, and it includes a lot of favorite movie snacks like popcorn.
Calling out our curbside concessions, and people can order online at clevelandcinemas.com as long as their order is in by noon on Friday the 15th. Then they can stop by at the theater that they select, which is the Cedar Lee, Capitol, Chagrin, and Apollo Theater, those 4 locations, and just pick up their concessions between 4 and 7 o'clock on Friday the 15th.
In the meantime, the Cleveland Cinemas are working hard to get everything in place for when they are allowed to reopen.
So we need to think about what our programming is going to be like. We also have our staff back working at the theater. All of our managers are at the theater right now doing a lot of deep cleaning and going over new procedures that we're going to have put in place.
Cleveland Cinemas say when they do reopen, they want everyone to feel safe and relaxed, and it remains to be seen what restrictions will be put in place, but you can imagine pretty much what we're all getting used to. Well, on behalf of Jay and myself, thank you so much for joining us these past several weeks. It has been our pleasure to connect with you at noon. We're going on hiatus for a bit, and on Monday, It's About You. We'll return to this time slot, but don't worry, you're still going to be able to see us, right, Jay?
That's right. Monica will still be along with her regular medical reports, by the way, the best in town. And I'll still be here every day at 5 with Betsy Kling and the entire 3 News team for What's New. We certainly hope you join us then. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather.